to 12:30 on Carolina Country WCSL 92.3 FM, 1590 AM, and online at kdcbroadcasting.com. The Memorial Day Red Tag Sale at Renato Kia at Renato Auto Mall in Shelby is now underway. Now through Monday, Memorial Day, May 27th, you can save thousands of dollars on the remaining brand new 2017 and 18 models. Now is the time to buy. Just look for the special red tags for thousands of dollars in savings. Don't miss it, the Memorial Day Red Tag Sale. Now through Monday, May 27th, Memorial Day at Renato Kia at Renato Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Online at RenatoAutomall.com.
Check out the great rates at Pine Mountain Golf Course. Play and ride weekdays for only $21. Seniors play and ride weekends for just $18. Or you can play and ride all day weekdays for only $28. Seniors can play and ride all day on weekends for $25. Make your tee time today by calling 828-433-4950. You'll love this challenging 18-hole par 68 course. The Pine Mountain Golf Course, adjacent to South Mountain State Park. Again, call 828-433-4950 for your tee time.
At Carolina Federal Credit Union in Cherryville, they treat you like family because you are. Making the most of your money starts by managing and growing your money. Come by Carolina Federal Credit Union in Cherryville and learn how you can protect your money and actions you can take. Plus, they can provide you with hints and tips. Learn more by visiting their website at carolinafcu.org or drop by their office at 1200 East Church Street in Cherryville. Become part of their family today.
Carpenter Porter Funeral and Cremation Services in Cherryville is there for you in your time of need. They're a progressive and comprehensive funeral service provider, promoting the highest ethical and professional standards while maintaining cost-effective service. Funeral directors John Porter, Scott, and Hannah Garrett are there to help you and give you guidance during one of life's most difficult times. For more information, call 704-435-6711. Located at 1100 East Main Street in Cherryville and online at carpentersfuneralhome.net, a member of the National Funeral Directors Association.
Hey, look, it's Gary Dellinger with Dellinger Electric. Gary, what's going on?
Hey, Calvin, just stopped by to see how the new jingle was coming along.
Well, as a matter of fact, we just finished it up. Want to hear it?
Oh, I can't wait.
Here we go.
When it comes to your wiring, you don't want to monkey around. Call Dellinger Electric. They're the best electricians in town.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't even give her phone number. And monkey around?
704-435-0705. They're the best electricians in town.
I don't have to pay for that, do I?
Only do things incredible can, cause I am the seed of a chosen breed. You don't see too many like me, cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do when you wanna be me instead of you, cause I am still on beat, showing love to the streets. Come on, you know me, cause that's who I am.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kevin Hastings. We've got a small little buzz there, JP. That's probably on our end. I'm going to work on that here in a second. Had to switch out some equipment last night. May have to re-switch it in just a few moments. Work on some wiring. Hey, intern, come back in here. We're going to have you help me with some stuff in a second. I'm going to introduce everybody. This one got to turn my ears up. I can't quite hear myself too much. Terry Reinhardt's this morning, eating some breakfast. He brought the breakfast in. Hunter Yancey's in this morning to watch after the big baseball game last night. Peyton's here as well. And, of course, Tom Cinephoni's in the house. If you're watching online, watching on YouTube, we all got a camera somewhere. Mine's here. Hey, guys, you actually got a tripod there, Hunter. You're the only one with a tripod. Tom's on his American Legion World Series Cup, and me and Terry's here in a box. I just got us on the box, Terry.
That's good, I guess. I mean,
are we out of chairs? You gotta make the man stand?
No, well, he's about to help me in a minute. I didn't mean for him to come stand next to. Me and him's about to check some wires. Tom, I couldn't find a HD picture, but we've got our Brown schedule on the board from ESPN. I didn't know if you saw that one.
That's all we ever see now.
I can't figure out whether it's an easy or a hard schedule because you can't Jets are on the rise.
No, the Jets are falling apart now.
Adam
I've got
Gase
that
is
in my
gonna
notes.
mess them up.
They're having
Internal?
internal.
Internal.
fights. Yeah, we'll get
But,
to that.
you know,
I've actually got it on my note today, Tom, to make fun of the Jets.
No, wait. They have they signed the Bell from
And-
Pittsburgh and
Yeah, but how much of a difference is that really going to make,
yeah.
though?
had a pretty, he's up and coming. I mean, I thought the Jets might be a team. I don't know. I didn't say good. I would say.
I think Darnold and their defense are the two
So
bright spots.
basically,
for
Adam
him.
Gase don't like Le'Veon Bell, and the GMs who signed him, they got in a big argument, and they fired the GM, so Gase is there, and he's still
Yeah,
like
now
Bell.
that I did hear because it's weird to fire the GM
Hey,
after.
guess who's on the roster as one of his backups? Crest Charger, Appalachian State, Jalen Moore.
Oh, really?
What if Adam
How about
Gase
that?
falls in love with the rookie?
How about that?
He might be replacing Le'Veon Bell.
Tom,
See,
I
but
only have one question when we look at this every Saturday morning here lately. And I try to sit back and wonder why we even put that up. Because the Browns, they have to play Pittsburgh twice, which they usually do. But we got them beating them 2 times. But it goes all the way back to 1989 since the Browns have beat Pittsburgh twice
Yeah, it's been a long.
in a
it's been
season.
long time.
So, I mean,
But I will say that the reason why that happens is it starts in your front office because you have to draft well. And if you look at some of the players that Pittsburgh has drafted over the years who have been productive players for a long time, and you look at who Cleveland's drafted, if you don't draft well, it's not going to go well.
So
I mean, you just gotta,
all of a sudden Mayfield comes along and y'all king of the herd.
Well, I think they're due, Terry. I think they're due.
Tom, here's a list of the top 32 quarterbacks in the NFL according to the Sporting News. And Terry's not happy with that list. Look at number 9 and then 19-ish or 14. 9 and 14. I think that's
We
where-
even put people on there hadn't even played a game.
I'm not really sure why you would put Brady at number 3. I mean, he just won the Super Bowl again.
Yeah,
So,
like
I mean,
number
that's kinda,
six.
you got to give him like the past champions provisional there.
I would put Brady. I would put Brady at 2.
Yeah, you got to put him up
I'd
there.
put Brady at 2.
But Tyreek Hill's still in a little bit of trouble, isn't he? So that's going to take away. Well, what's going on with Kansas City? You got Hunt got in trouble. You got Tyreek Hill got in trouble again. I mean,
That's the reason I keep telling people when Kansas City got knocked out this past week and people said about them making, I said they will not be in the NFL playoffs this year.
I mean, they still got weapons at the wide receiver.
They still
position.
not good enough.
Sammy Watkins, they've
still
got
not good
they've got the better defensive end in Clark. Now they traded for him from the Seattle Seahawks. They drafted another wide receiver. He's from Georgia. I can't remember his name though.
But Kansas City's major problem was their secondary.
Mhm.
I mean, because everybody was
They
hurt.
signed Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah, I saw. It seemed like they did get a cornerback, but I saw like the Browns are doing. I'm sure a lot of other teams are doing it. They're trying to stack their defensive,
Stack the
their
front
secondary,
seven.
Their secondary, and their secondary too.
Yeah.
They've got I think they have 6 cornerbacks on the roster right now. But because it's a pass-happy league, you're not going to be competitive if you can't defend against the pass.
Mhm.
And which 2 ways do you do that? You got to have, like he says, you got to have the front to put pressure on the quarterback, and then you got to have guys who can cover. It just seems like linebackers aren't talked about as much as they used to be, are they, Terry?
No, nowhere near. But as you look at that schedule, Tom, what do you think? Give me a realistic win and loss total.
I'm trying to introduce the show, and it turned into the Tom going down the Browns schedule.
Well,
I think
Terry just.
I think
get
it,
to-
I think
this
an interesting
is-
would be over and under.
Hunter's enjoying his
I think
sausage
10
leg.
would be a good over/under number to throw out there. I think
I said
somewhere
they are
around
playoff
10.
bound.
Yeah,
I say a wild card. I do not.
but I will
Until
say,
you beat Pittsburgh, you're not going to be above.
Objectively speaking,
Terry, if Pittsburgh goes 5-11, they can beat us twice.
Well, objectively speaking, can you?
What does it matter if Pittsburgh?
They had that
beat
little
Pittsburgh?
run at the end of the season where they won a lot of games.
2, 3,
But it
4.
really, they were sort of in the playoffs, but not the playoff hunt, but not really. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We're sort of in it, but not really. Can you do it when it matters?
All right,
and there's guys that can do it and guys that can do it.
I got 12-4, and that's giving you 2 losses to Pittsburgh.
Okay, well, that's fair.
I
That's
think they
fine.
beat the Seahawks.
Well, the Seahawks have no defense. Right
Yeah,
now.
they have nothing now.
Titans they don't know who's playing quarterback.
And they
Jets
have
are
no
a
number
mess.
1 wide
I'll
receiver
say
anymore.
let's give the loss to the Rams. They're not getting beat by the Lamar Jackson handing off and playing
No, they won't.
high school ball. You're not getting beat by the 49ers in their first year. Maybe on the road.
Garoppolo,
I
if
don't
he's
think
back,
so.
they have opportunity to
He
get
ain't
beat.
No,
there.
I still have San Francisco as a dark horse wild card.
They
Oh,
lose.
I'm
Let's say
fine.
they lose at the Patriots
'Cause their
They beat the
defense is good
Let's
now.
say they beat the Broncos, even though I think Broncos are winning the West. They beat the Bills. They lose the Steelers. Beat the Dolphins. Lose the Steelers. Beat the Bengals. Beat the Cardinals. Beat the Ravens. Beat the Bengals. That's 12-4. And that's if they're good. That's if they're a good team. And that's the big if. Guys, we've got high school baseball to talk about. NBA playoffs to talk about. Is it all? We got all kinds of Warriors questions. Let me pull my magic list of things that I got to.
Yeah, I read that that series West Lincoln East Lincoln's going to a third game. Is that gonna be
last
today?
night.
That was
Tom.
last night.
It was
You
last
went to
night.
sleep but earlier. They threw a
Sure
third game on
was.
us on a Friday night.
Okay.
North Lincoln won last night in a big game. Hunter did the play-by-play of that. That's about what we was going to
Okay.
get into and start off with. But we had a break coming up, so let's kind of cover a couple of other things. So yes, Tom, 3-0 last night, big game up there. Hunter, you had to play-by-play for that. I want to get into that in kind of in the next segment. Kind of we can kind of push it back. Let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll get to other stuff. Let me go down the list of things we got to get into today. Major League Baseball, we've got to get into Braves and Cardinals on WCSL. Cardinals lost to the Chiefs, the Royals, and they're losing to the Braves. You might as well bury them dead and buried if you're going to lose to those two teams.
Braves are playing good baseball right
Well.
now. Good baseball right now. They are. Their pitching staff's coming around.
Anyway, just messing with you guys. I got a Braves and a Royals fan here sitting here. Let's see. NBA playoffs, Raptors. Where's Kawhi going to go? Is he going to stay? Are they going to win? We're going to talk about how right I was about that. We're going to talk about how right I was about the North Lincoln, West Lincoln stuff. We're going to talk about there's something else I'm going to talk about. What else I was right about.
You know what? I'm just going to sit
Tiger
back.
Woods and PGA. I nailed that one to the
Go ahead,
wall.
brag. I'll go.
So I had a couple of those I just when you're accidentally right 3 times in a week on something.
I know we're gonna have to
you're
just
gonna
talk
brag
about
about
why
those.
you'd be accidentally right 3 times. So that's what the show
right.
is for. So
Exactly. Tom, I do have the Jets listed on here. Free agency fight for Gerald McCoy. Where's he going to sign? He said he wants to sign with Contender. The Browns are actively courting him. Myles Garrett says they don't need him. What do you think about that?
Well, they were joking. He said it was a joke. It was basically that. Well, way I understand the situation. They were talking about a trade, but then Tampa Bay ended up releasing him. Right. So now he can go wherever he wants.
Right.
But it was a lighthearted. I think it was man, if you want to come here, fine. If you don't, we're good without you. I think it was one of those
Which
deals.
is right. That's what every team players should say, right?
Every tweet just gets. In this world of social media, like if somebody tweets out something little, it just gets blown. Like the OBJ said, "We're the new Patriots." Oh, and it just like blows up all over social media. So I don't, you can definitely. He's a good player. They say that he's maybe not quite as good as he used to be, but still could play for a lot of NFL teams. And anybody who makes your team better, naturally, you want.
I mean, they lost one defensive tackle and picked up another. They picked up Ndamukong Suh, so. They lost
still
one,
pretty good.
picked up another.
Yeah, they're still pretty good.
Still got a little bit left in the tank. Maybe not what he was when he
I
was
was
with
getting
Detroit.
ready to say. There we
Tom,
go.
I don't know if you've
There we
noticed how we've got the room set up if you're watching on YouTube. But if you're watching Terry, you can look right over his shoulder and see the Cleveland Indians hat and the Dog Pound hat right on top of each other. So anytime Terry needs to, he's always got a hat on. And
That's
always
the reason
switches
it's
hats.
behind me. I don't have to look
So
at
when
it.
he walks in with a hat like today, that from somewhere else, we can always put a Indians hat on or a Browns hat on right on top of it. I don't think that Shelby hat's a kid's hat. I don't think that's going to fit that noggin.
If I can go back to that series, that you were talking about, the West Lincoln, North Lincoln series, they usually don't do that. They play back to back. But
play
I
on
mean, with the
Saturday.
proximity of the teams, it made that possible.
Right.
But I wonder why they didn't wait till Saturday. Was there a scheduling conflict or something like that?
Well, Memorial Day weekend.
Maybe that was it.
Speaking of that, we had a T-ball game scheduled for last night. And
So
the other
they-
team had 6 players, and we had 10, but we had to we shared an outfield with them and or 2, and didn't have catchers. And we'll talk about that for the next break. I tell you what, I can waste a minute. Terry, we had so the situation was the other team had to forfeit, right? So, but there was no umpire there. Well, that we saw.
Oh my
So
god!
we don't know if he just
It's not a legit game.
we didn't know if he didn't show up or if he left after there was called a forfeit. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Possibility.
But anyway, they had a volunteer that went out there who had never done it before. And we're the Braves. This guy's wearing a Braves hat. He looks like one of our coaches out there calling everybody.
But it was
And-
T-ball though, right?
Coach pitch, and
Coach
he missed
pitch.
4 calls in the first inning. So the parents did not know.
He's
But the, wait a minute, the parents
learning.
did not know that there was a
Oh,
forfeit
my
and stuff
gosh.
out here. And this guy's out here in a Braves hat, missing calls left and right.
So let me get this straight. You pulled somebody out of the stands to call, and you critiqued him in
Yeah,
the
I
first
see
inning.
it. That's
We-
what I'm saying.
But they didn't know that. They thought he was the actual
Oh
umpire.
my
So
goodness!
there was some mad mamas there in the first inning, especially one kid.
Stu volunteers
One
and
kid
they busted.
hit a ground ball up down the first baseline. The first baseman knocked it foul. The umpire called it foul, and the baby struck out. And
Did you have American Legion baseball on the schedule too?
we had American Legion on Thursday night. Lincoln Cardinals. I didn't have got my schedule there. We've already had a couple Cherryville games. Shelby hadn't been. They've had 3 games in May, and they all conflicted with the Braves game, so we couldn't get them on yet. We should be getting them on soon. You did a game over there, right, the other night?
Yeah, just the B game because Shannon was taking pictures. I didn't not the A team, the B
Right.
team, but yeah, Shannon obviously was there doing the PA or something.
Now,
over there.
talk about critiquing umpires.
Yeah.
How was that game?
What
How was the umpires in that game?
they were horrible,
According to the game,
especially the plate guy. He was terrible. But other than that, the players had a good time.
You didn't throw anybody out on the second batter.
No.
Now, did he tell you what the score was in that game?
35 to 1.
Yeah, he threw a guy out on the second
A
batter.
female.
Or yeah, a coach out, second batter.
I gotta ask
35 to
Terry,
1 ball
Terry,
game.
let me guess. This was a younger lady that you had to throw out, or
No,
really?
no, it's probably my age.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know where you was
That
probably going with
surprised
that,
me.
thinking the younger
Yeah.
kids were like.
That surprised me because
Yeah.
sometimes I think in the some of the travel leagues they have a little they don't quite get the guys who have enough training to deal with that, and some of the younger guys might put up with what you described. But it surprised me somebody our age would be that
I said,
disrespectful.
well, that's exactly what I said, and well, things happen in life that you do not realize is going to happen to you when you step out on a field.
It's
and
it's pretty bad though when you get beat 35 to 1. It's like, well, what happened, coach? I don't know. I got thrown out on the second batter. I mean, it's pretty bad if you
Hey,
get thrown out
hey,
again.
here's the thing though. You know what that coach can say? It's tied where I got thrown out. It all fell apart after. You can't blame
Yeah,
me.
that's probably what it was.
It's the umpire's fault. It's all your fault, Terry. They were
I'll
organized.
take the blame. I
You
will
gave up
take the blame.
35 runs, Terry. Did you know that?
Well, I've given up more
Well,
than that before. You
That's
know.
insane.
I've given up
More
more
than 35 runs. How would you like a 35 to 1 softball game?
Is it not a 10-run rule? I swear, if I'll be
Gotta
honest,
get
if
to the
I,
fourth
this,
inning.
that's
First inning.
what's so
It was
bad.
first inning.
That's what's so bad is when you're on the other team that's obviously getting beat that bad, and I would seriously be like, can we just like stop?
Like, stop it.
Just stop.
Yeah.
This is embarrassing already. Can we just stop?
Once you get to 20 or 30 runs, that's probably the cutoff. Not the lead, just at period, right? But no,
Well,
they ran into the time limit.
yeah, the time limit
That's
run
what
out.
ended it.
I had to give the poor catcher 3 breaks to go get water. Yeah, so
Oh, yeah. I remember. Probably man. Somebody, Terry, was mad at the umpire.
well,
And you
yeah,
stood there
yeah, I
for-
guess the worst part about it is when the young kid behind the plate is looking at me and she goes, "Can I have a water break?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am, you sure can." And
She
I'll
wasn't
let her
asking for
go.
a strike, Terry. Give
Well,
her a strike or two. Come
But she
on.
would come back and then she'd get back there. She goes, "I just want to get them out so I can bat."
Yeah. You
You
gotta have
know.
that. You gotta have that Eric Gregg strike zone out there.
Well,
Greg Maddox strike zone.
It's
As long as the
kind of
catcher
hard to
catches it.
have that strike zone when they're behind the player.
So getting back to the,
Yes, sir.
I know we keep bouncing around a little bit, but this
First
Randleman,
thing-
Randleman is going to be playing North Lincoln.
Yes.
So have you got any kind of
We're gonna get
scouting
to
report on them or anything like that? I'm just kind of pulling them up and just looking. They won
Right.
their second game 10-0.
that. Yeah, they beat Washington.
Randleman's a team that has won state before. So.
Yeah.
They're an 11 seed. We're gonna get to that in just a minute. Let's see how ready the intern and JP are. Huh. There
There
you
they
go.
are.
Oh, he
There
set
we
up.
go.
He set up. You heard
That's
the name.
right.
So JP, we're ready for our first break. And then we're going to come back and we're going to dive into this North Lincoln, West Lincoln series, the state playoffs, get into all that. We'll let everybody know what's going on that we know. Still don't have a schedule. That's the weird part about this. We're hoping it's in Greensboro if they do the right thing, Tom. We'll explain why in just a minute. JP, are you ready? I want Peyton in there running that from here on from the rest of the show. We're going to get him on there and give him some. He's been in a lot of these games this week. We're going to get him talking in there to us and answer some of our questions for us. All right, we'll be back in just a few minutes. KTCBroadcasting.com.
Country Gold with Terry Clark.
I'm Terry Clark, inviting you to join me for Country Gold, where we play your favorites from the 80s and 90s. This week, my guest will be Mark Wills. He was just made a member of the Grand Ole Opry, and we'll speak with him backstage. He'll talk about his Opry experiences and his plans for new music this year. That's Mark Wills with me on Country Gold with Terry Clark.
Country Gold with Terry Clark, Thursday afternoons at 1 o'clock on Carolina Country, WCSL, 92.3 FM, 1590 AM, and online at KDCBroadcasting.com. Dwight Fowler at Renato Buick GMC at Renato Auto Mall in Shelby brings you a special Memorial Day invoice sale. Just pick out the vehicle of your choice, pull the invoice right off the window, and come inside for big, big savings. Plus, you can qualify for additional special incentives and rebates. It's one sale you don't want to miss. The Memorial Day invoice sale at Renato Buick GMC at Renato Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Online at RenatoAutomall.com.
It's Charlotte.
Start your engine!
It's the 60th running of the Coca-Cola 600.
It is underway. The green flag flies. Kevin Harvick hard into the wall. They're three wide in turn two. Brad Keselowski all kinds of sideways. Jimmy Johnson is sideways, and everybody tries to get on the bike. Brad Keselowski, unbelievable, around the field in turn two.
The Coca-Cola 600, Sunday, May 26th at 5 p.m.
The Coca-Cola 600, Sunday afternoon at 5 o'clock on WCSL, Carolina Country, 92.3 FM and 1590 AM, online at KDCBroadcasting.com.
In 2019, our Atlanta Braves are looking to defend their National League East title, and we'll bring you every play from this epic season.
And a drive to right field. That ball is tagged. That ball is gone into the chop house. Ozzie Albies strikes back.
Atlanta Braves baseball back again on the Boston Carolina Country. WHS Shelby, WLON Lincolnton, WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia.
Isolated and alone?
That's how millions of Americans feel while experiencing a mental health crisis.
Need to talk? Our providers love to listen.
Call us now at 1-888-235-HOPE.
That's 1-888-235-4673.
Partners, improving lives and strengthening communities in North Carolina. 1-888-235-HOPE. 235-4673.
Need a licensed electrician to service your home? Give us a jingle, or just use this one.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
For local pros, call Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? Give us a jingle, or just use this one.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
For local pros, call Mr. Sparky.
And welcome back to Saturday Morning Sports Talk with Kevin and the gang. Kevin, back to you.
All right. If you're watching,
I'm part of the gang? What the?
You're the gang.
What the?
You're the one with the tattoos in here.
Oh.
Gang? What do you mean gang?
That's rude.
Well, that's part of Jesus' gang, right?
There you go.
Hey.
Let's not forget.
See his fresh tattoo he got there, Tom? And he got
I saw that. I didn't know if he had that last time.
And he got that
at
before
least,
he went on his
I will
trip
say this. I know you can't
Utah.
see it, but obviously he went to somebody who knew what they were doing because the artwork on it's very good.
It's not bad. I couldn't draw it on a piece of paper. I would have to copy that, put it in Photoshop, print off like.
Gentleman that did this.
Gentleman
that did this is only 20 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart guy gets a girl to do it, but just rookie mistake over there. Just letting you know. You just spent how many hours with him? Buying breakfast.
The North Lincoln West Lincoln game.
Yeah. Terry, speaking of breakfast, if you're watching on YouTube, we're stuffing our faces here between the breaks.
Mm-hmm.
My biscuit is just absolutely excellent. I get a chicken, egg, and cheese. Terry, what do you get over? What did you get over there today?
Liver mush, egg, and grits with some toast.
Yeah. Mine's sort of like yours, just it's sausage instead of liver mush.
Instead of sausage plate, Terry didn't know what that meant.
I sent Kevin, I said, what
assumed it
is
was on the
that?
menu.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't have I didn't have the menu in front of me, so I was just like, well, do they have like a plate? But instead, I want sausage with it. So I just called it a sausage plate.
They've had everything else we've asked for, so I just said, yeah.
Like, what in the world is this? I mean, does he want biscuits and gravy with like sausage in it?
Sausage in a plate.
You know, that might be next week.
I've really thought about just putting a piece of sausage in that plate and bringing it.
I would have ate it.
Peyton, you listening in there? Peyton. JP, have Peyton order. Peyton, if you forgot to turn your mic 1 on in there, and join the conversation a sec. Put your headphones on and turn mic 1 on there. So Peyton this week has been tweeting scores at all of our games. He was there last night with you guys at the Legion games this week. Peyton is our new intern. He's not really going to be here on the weekends too much, so got to get him some information out of him and introduce him to folks here before he joins us on the rest of the stuff. We don't have a Saturday remote broadcast today, so
what?
He's up early in Memorial Day weekend, Tom.
I still can't believe. I'm sure there's some business somewhere
Well,
that
they
figured
should.
Calvin would
Yeah,
be somewhere.
they should, but
Calvin, if you're listening, you deserve a Saturday.
Well,
off.
you know,
He does.
well, we do cater to mostly local businesses, and the local businesses want to go. The owners want to go out of town on the weekends, Tom, and not sit and make the employees do all the work. So, as you see, we're all here this morning, Saturday.
Oh, you mean that? You mean like people who don't teach school that have money to go on vacation?
Right.
Those kind of people. Okay.
Yes, that's the reason we're here today.
I'm gonna feel terrible about you two in about 3 weeks when y'all are in the pool from Monday through Friday.
But you got to remember that unless it's a check
so
it's a check for calling a ball game or a check from KTC, we don't get no
Now
checks.
that's
in the
it.
summer.
There you go.
Well, yeah, you can if you do it right. If you get your checks right. I
See, but
guess.
what people don't understand, Terry, explain to them. Your check is smaller through the year if you do that.
Yes.
So it's kind of like,
Right.
do you want your $10, or do you want 10 $1 installments? It's still $10.
Yes.
Try to explain it to them.
Yeah.
Try to explain
easy,
it to them.
easy Common Core math for these for the kids out
Put
there.
in your judgment of going 2 months with 0 pay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I want to talk about this this team that's playing North Lincoln in the state final. They have not lost since April. I want to say April 24th. April. Yeah, it's been. I'm trying to see where they lost again. Now I've got the last team that beat the
Look right
team.
there in your paper, Tom.
What's
Quit
that?
Quit looking at your phone. Look at that paper. See what that.
No, the paper won't have. I don't think the paper will have it. I'm sorry. But
we have a paper internet.
the last
so
team that
it
beat
goes
him
back
was
and forth
the last
on
team that
either
beat him
phone.
was Providence Grove.
Providence
Grove. Well, I don't know where that is, but the last team that Providence Grove made the playoffs. You know who put them out of the playoffs? The School of Science and Math. Who knew they had a good baseball team? Well, at least went to the third round.
Analytics, Tom.
That's what it must
Analytics.
be. You know what?
Analytics.
That's a good point. Yeah, that they had won that. So you're always trying to like gauge how
you got their schedule up and everything. Kiki.
I've got.
That's-
Now I've got their schedule.
I was about to say, click on the standings because they couldn't have come in first. They're an 11 seed in their.
They were 10 and
conference.
2 in their league, Kevin. They were 10 and 2 in their league, and your reception here in the KTC dungeon is not all that great.
Are you
so.
connected to the Wi-Fi?
I will try to do that in just a second.
Let's see. All right.
Providence Grove won that conference.
Okay,
Kevin.
so that's the last team that beat them. Then was the conference
Right,
team.
is the conference champ. They won that, and then they've got Randleman, Wheatmore. I've heard of that school before.
Right.
Yeah,
We've
and
had
then
them in our-
Jordan Matthews, heard of them. Eastern Randolph, Trinity, and T. Wingate Andrews, who did not win a game all year.
Providence Grove got an 8 seed and win in that
Yeah, but
conference.
Providence Grove was, like, as I said, the conference champion. They were 10 and 2. They might have. I wonder if they swept Randleman, because that was the last team that beat them.
Randleman in the playoffs. While Tom's checking that out, they started at home as 11 seed, beat West Craven 9-4. Then they went on the road and beat Nash Central 10-3 in round 2. Round 3, here's your East-West, Tom. In the West, the 3 seed, Whiteville. Randleman went to Whiteville and won. For you folks who don't know where Whiteville is, it's about, 30 minutes from the beach, Terry?
Yes.
and they were the 3 seed.
So they went
in
east
the West
to play in the West.
Yes, they went
in the West.
They went to Greensboro basically. That's what Rennerman's basically near Greensboro. So you know, with what we're thinking about that with that, Terry. Now they went on the road to beat Bunn after going all the way to Whiteville and winning 3-2. I bet that was a fun bus ride back on a 3-2 ball game. Then you come back and then they beat Washington. That's also on the coast.
On the coast, yes.
And they won that 2-0. That's the eastern side. So sorry, we got that wrong. Well, Randoman's probably about the furthest west team in the east.
In the
now,
east.
Aren't they, Terry? I mean, if
Could
you're coming
be.
all the way to
I'd have to look at
Greensboro,
all
if
of
you're coming
them.
all the way back to that area for it. So Randoman, I think we got that right. Geography. We'll have a social studies teacher text or call us in a minute to get us right. So here's the thing, though. If that's the case, I don't think they'll send them to Zebulon, Tom, being that both teams are on this side of Zebulon. But you know.
So where are the sites? Where are the sites?
Zebulon and UNC Greensboro. We're hoping they send North Lincoln and Randleman to UNC Greensboro, and not send them both to Zebulon, past UNC Greensboro, and send both teams. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we've seen some different decisions from the Athletic Association before.
For a 3-game set.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's, if it goes 3 games, that's when it gets interesting, because on the high school team, the team that's got the more pitching definitely has the advantage, because a lot of high school teams don't have that third guy. You know what I mean? A lot of them got 1, some of them got 2, not too many have 3.
Right.
So it's gonna be, when you don't know much about a team, what's that third
and
guy?
then you also, you talk about that, Tom. You've been playing 1-game series, so you're 1-2, 1-2, 1-2.
Right.
So, Hunter, you guys last night at the game were talking about that. Ken, the pitcher for North Lincoln last night.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
He came into the game. He's been the number 3 all year, but they hadn't needed him in about 2 months.
Oh yeah, I think his father, who was in the press box with us, said his last start was April 30th.
Yep.
That was his last start. So it's been about a whole month since he's even started a game. But even then, they didn't say whether or not he went the full 7 April 30th.
Right.
He went the full 7 last night, and
Sorry,
you could
Peyton, I was
tell.
supposed
You
to
could
ask you a
tell
question.
towards the end he was getting a little bit fatigued. You could tell he started to get. He started to walk a little bit more. They scored 2 runs in the 7th inning. Top of the 7th, West Lincoln did on him. But he honed it back in when he knew, hey, I just got to get this done, because after this, it's over.
I was about to text you, and that's usually, sometimes, Terry, you'll get and I know the umpire's thinking it, and I'm sure the assistant, the coaches will go, if they ever call time in that situation, it's 11-2 or 3.
It was 11-3.
And we're hitting batters and throwing it over the back of the plate. That's when you walk out there and say, hey, throw it where the catcher can catch it, or we can give up a few here.
Yeah, they can put the ball in play.
Quit throwing your best pitch here up for 8 runs, and throw a strike here, boss.
It's kind of like some of those. I think some coaches might try to outsmart themselves too, and change up that order. And we're going to say the last guy for the last game.
Well,
the first guy for the last.
Here you go, Tom.
But you can't play if you don't.
That was my genius talk this week. I guess talking to people, my prediction. Here, so North Lincoln had a deeper staff than West. Everyone said coming in. West has an ace, and they beat North Lincoln with him at home, right? 3-0. So I said, well, you might want, since you're the lower seed, might want to just save him for home in the second game. Go for broke. Know you win that game, because I've seen in Major League Baseball, you go ace against ace. Well, if you don't have the rest of your staff as good as their staff, if you lose that ace game, then you may be in trouble. Right. Now it worked out this way, and the math worked out, because it's funny. It's like, I'm gonna point this out to Terry, but just being silly. In the second game, West Lincoln had a shutout, right? Well, if that pitcher pitched in the first game, and the first pitcher pitched in the second game and gave up the 3 runs, West Lincoln would have won 2 games to none and would be in the state championship today. Because they would have won 1-0 and 9-3.
Okay.
Wouldn't even been a game 3. See, you got to listen to me, Terry. I'm just saying that it worked out that way with the math being funny like that, but because they give up the 9 runs, and so I can say that. But
Well, that's like
just in certain situations. What I'm saying is that, if you've got like I said, your two aces. Well, instead of going ace, you go ace versus my number 2, my ace versus your number 2 at home. Then game 3, anything can happen. And it did, and you guys saw it. But it was just. I was just going to pick on Terry a little bit.
What
Like,
do you
hey,
think,
you
Terry?
could be 2-0.
You're going to throw your ace the first game no matter what. Are you
Yeah, you're going to do that, and it really, I mean, tell you the truth, it ended up not being his fault, because if you just take up earned runs that was given, it was 1-1, because there was 2 unearned runs in the first inning that they got, that North Lincoln got. And don't get me wrong, congratulations to North Lincoln. They've done a great job. Carpenter, I mean, for him, his first trip, for all his guys, their first trip. And for Lincoln County, it was just great for me that it was 2 Lincoln County teams battling for the Western Finals. You just don't see that. Right. I mean,
Oh, I told everybody last night, I said, look, when the game was over, I said, if you are a Lincolnton fan, East Lincoln fan, or a West Lincoln fan, you cheering for North Lincoln right now.
The biggest
go
game
up
in
there.
county
You can
history
go.
last night?
Biggest game
in county history last night.
That's kind of hard. I mean, I've had people ask me, is it the biggest win totals for West Lincoln this year, after winning the state, doing well in football, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you'd have to go back and look at history for West Lincoln. I mean, that we've had decent basketball teams that before, when the baseball team was good, the football team might not have been good, but you'd have to go back and look. But I wouldn't be able to say that without studying charts and looking, But as far as the games, though, I'm proud of West Lincoln. They were picked 4th in this conference, and these guys over-excelled.
Coach got Coach of the Year for it, too.
Yeah, they played for everything.
West Lincoln has a very young staff, too. I
Yeah,
mean,
they
got
do.
Some young guys coaching
They
that
do,
team.
but they also have a lot of
Yeah,
seniors
yeah.
on this squad,
Yeah.
so that's going to hurt. But for them last night they did jump out to 2-0. Hunter and them was there, 2-0 lead, and
Yep.
as far as
homer.
Yeah, as far as West
and I
Lincoln,
thought
they
that was going to
thinking.
get it started
But
for West Lincoln, because I had told Ken, I say it all the time, and also any sport we cover, I say momentum is real. And I said, do you think West Lincoln going into this game still has the momentum, because they just come off a 9-0 shutout that they gave North Lincoln? And I thought they did. As soon as they hit that 2 shot in the left center, I said, well, looks like it's rolled right over.
But
Then North
baseball
Lincoln answered.
is baseball. When you go to the bottom of that inning, it's huge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you score runs in the top, then that's your biggest inning, that bottom, to keep them with nothing.
Yeah.
And then they come in and scored 6.
And you want to know what? I'll give my in-depth little analysis that I had. It's not really, if you were there, this is not too deep of an analysis, though, because it was really blatant. To me, the headline was mistakes. Silly mistakes made by West Lincoln. You don't know how many errors they would just have in one bottom of an inning. When
Well,
North
Terry just
Lincoln,
said the 2 in the first game
Yeah.
was the difference. The 2 unearned
Yeah.
in the first game.
Yeah.
So
that
go ahead, Hunter.
Yeah, in the bottom of the 4th, when North Lincoln scored that 6, only one of them was earned.
Yeah.
All of them came off mistakes. That was one thing that Ken had said, and I said, wow, it really did. And that hurt them again whenever they went to 11. That just mistakes. It was silly routine plays, and should be routine. Player picks his glove up too early, rolls right underneath it. Throw over to first, pulls the runner off pulls the first baseman off the bag. Throw to second, gets past the second baseman. One of them was, it was a pitch in the dirt, hit the plate, goes up over the backstop. Well, send him around. And so, I was just, to me, West Lincoln could have been in it if they just would not have shot themselves in the foot so much. It would have probably been a lot closer. I don't think North Lincoln would have had the 6, because like we said, they only earned 1. So if you don't give up those extra 5 in the bottom of the 4th, and you get out of that inning, you're still up 2-1 going into the top of the 5th.
Yeah.
So it could have gone either way if West Lincoln would have maybe focused on the fundamentals just a little bit more in that game. I think they might have gotten a little bit complacent at times, because I know one of them, that poor third baseman, God, it all started, he had an error. He tried to go, the transition from glove to hand just was not clean enough, and the guy was able to get on it first, and that's just where it started.
I will say, and I guess you probably noticed a lot, Tom, doing a lot of these high school games, probably more than some of us, because you go to different fields a lot. I will say this as an infielder, Hunter, and it's very hard going from field to field. I'm not saying other fields are I'm not saying say this field's worse than yours or what. What I'm saying is every field is so different. And especially now in the 1A with these charter schools, you don't know what fields they're playing on. They're not playing on that's high school. Bessemer City, and compare that, Tom, to say one of these other charter schools. I know even when I played, one of the schools we played against they had an all dirt infield, and it was like a wave. And depending on where the ball was hit, the ball's going to bounce around. Then they got rocks on the fields and other places. So
and how much room do you have on the lines
right.
and behind
Every
you?
third base is cut different. Some people go up to third base. So you got a big square. You got a circle. At short, it's some are deeper than others. Everyone is different, and you're right, Hunter. That is a very big key in a lot of these games is being used to these fields. Now, once they go to state championships, there's going to be
I was about to say, and
perfect conditions for everybody. But say, being at Bessemer, practicing every day on that grass, and then you go to a field that don't have any grass or it's choppy or something else. You're not ready for that a lot of times. Maybe.
Say you're a catcher at Bessemer City, and you play at Bessemer City, and then you go to Sims Legion Park, and you're the catcher.
In the back, the backstop's a mile and a half.
I mean, it's one of those things where, that comes into play too, especially if you've got a guy. I like to keep the ball down. I like to throw a lot of curveballs down, and then one gets away.
Right.
Well, if it gets away at Bessemer City, that guy at third's going to have a hard time coming home. But if it gets away at Sims, or if it gets away at Shelby, he's going to walk in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and especially at the high school level, I think that's one of the biggest things is how much room is behind the catcher.
Cherryville used to have brick dust in the infield, and it was so thick. Like if you weren't ready for it, like your first step, you're going to slip, slide, and your infielders are digging into it. It slowed people down. It slowed runners and infielders down on that. They got rid of it, but that stuff was kind of weird to play, and it was solved, but it was just really weird. So every field's different, and it is hard for the infielders to adjust. And I was making fun of some of our baseball guys that saying about the outfield. It's harder to play outfield. And they're still catching fly balls. You got some lights out there. Just silly about that. But I do want to mention a couple things about. They've only got 4 seniors on the roster. North Lincoln.
Yeah, they're young.
Yeah,
Tom.
they're young.
Very young.
How many of these kids played last night? Hunter, Cobb. I know Quilla did. And then the other seniors are Brumfield and Allen.
Only 2 that played were Quilla and Allen.
So 2 of the 4 seniors. Their middle infielders aren't they freshmen or sophomores?
Sophomore. I think they're sophomores.
So they've got a lot of people were saying that this team would compete for state championship after this year, and then
Here they are now.
Here we are now. They thought they could make a run this year possibly, but here we are now in this. I do want to say a couple things about Coach John Carpenter. He started at Bessemer City as what's the first thing? Or you're not a teacher's assistant. What's the first thing you do when your very first thing?
What do you mean? His job at the school?
Yeah, like not a straight job, but when you. Geez.
Was it TA?
Maybe that at first at Bessemer. Then he started teaching other classes and stuff. But I remember him then with the fresh faced, shaven face young kid.
He don't have a shaven face anymore.
No. And so a lot of people don't remember him like that at all, and I do. So I remember the young John, and the fact that let's say he wins the state championship, and that I'm sure he could call up. He learned a little bit from Coach Mahaffey, and Coach doesn't have never won a state. So if you'd have told someone then in Bessemer City, or maybe even 5 to 10 years afterwards, John Carpenter might have more state championships than Coach Mahaffey, you'd just be like, that's the silliest thing I've ever heard. But keep working on what you're doing and playing and keep doing it. He's been doing it for years.
Yeah, he's had that program a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So they got him going in good places. They've got some young talent and put it together. So, we'll congratulate him on everything. Like I said, Terry, Wesleyan might have the best season they've ever had. So they feel bad today or whatever they didn't win, but you got to feel good about the season.
Oh, I'll tell you
had,
something.
right?
The crowd last night, even North Lincoln's, they gave them a huge round of applause. They exceeded expectations. West
Good.
Lincoln, they had nothing to hang their head on. Of course, they could say, well, we could have played better, but you had a fantastic season.
It went like it was supposed to. I mean, Cobb went against Moxley, 3-1 game, and then you come back for game 2, and Seth Willis was out there for West Lincoln against Whitley. And, those are their second guys on each squad. And, West Lincoln just won that one going away. And you have to say, Whitley, hey, you got a senior going against a sophomore. So Whitley learned a lot from that game, being his first one in a big-time situation. And then you went into last night, and they threw Kelton Towery out there. But we knew going in it, you could not go to Moxley, you could not go to Willis, just like they couldn't go to Cobb and Whitley. So you're stuck in game 3 of hoping who comes out of this okay. And Tom mentioned this at the start. Most people have 2, but it's tough to grab the third one, And for West Lincoln, we knew is either going to be Dylan Smith starting and Kelton coming in, or Towery's doing the starting.
Carpenter said after the game, he said I was more than comfortable putting Josh Allen out there for game 2. So I was more than comfortable.
I'm sure those guys get innings through the year.
Oh, they do.
They do. That third guy.
Like Tom and when a game gets out of hand. Well, Tom and Terry, real quick, what do you guys think? Say in this series in particular, and going forward, that they'll be playing another 3-game series in 2 days. How do you think as far as the pitching count? This is real. These 2 series, you go one game. In 5 days or 7 days, you're not concerned about the pitch count. Now are you more concerned about pitch counts now, and how do you think that affects it as more as to having the 12 innings? How do y'all like how it's going as far as that goes?
Well,
I've seen teams lose games on pitch counts in the past few years.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm going to go like this. You have to go the same way that Carpenter went now, and I know every coach thinks different. But you got to win game 1 with your ace. You got to have him out there. You cannot give up game 1 and then say, well, I'm going to save him, and then we'll go with him game 2 or 3. You got to be up 1-0. That helped North Lincoln, jumping out 1-0. But then in game 2, what do? You can be a coach and say, well, I'm going to throw my third one and keep my number 2 man for the last game. But what are you really saying? Okay, I'm just giving this game away. That's basically what you're saying. And no, you don't do that. If you're up 1-0, you're going to send number 2 guys out there and try to end the series. And Coach Tom, what do you think?
Well, he goes back to the pitch count. I'm kind of torn about that because I've done some weekend ball. And you got some really good weekend coaches out there. And you've got some weekend coaches out there that I'm not real sure are the best qualified, might overthrow a kid and damage his arm. And the same thing with high school.
Yep.
But guys have gotten this far. You're not going to get this far by ruining a guy's arm. I don't think that's the mentality of the coaches that get this far anymore. So I think there's some kids that can maybe throw 125, 130 pitches, and there's some kids that can throw 80 or 90. It just depends. And I think that the coach can still be trusted to diagnose that. The state of North Carolina says no. So now you're stuck with this pitch count, and you might be bottom of the 7th inning. You get an out, and now you got to change pitchers. And that pitcher's got momentum, and he's throwing well, and now you got to take him out of the game. And if he's your 3rd guy, now you got to get your 4th guy, your 5th guy. And I think that really that hurts some teams where that guy's just got more ability. There's some guys that can run 5 miles, and there's some guys that can only run 1. That's just kind of the human body is not made in a factory somewhere and is identical to everybody else. But I think that the many are being punished for the few. Does that make sense, Terry? I would like to think that most coaches are not going to hurt. If that kid says my arm is hurting, I think the days of get in there and quit being a wuss are over. I think the coaches do listen to that.
Do we? Do you really? Because the reason I keep going back because I do remember a pitcher that was in our network that pitched 76 pitches one game.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying?
But
somewhere along the line, you got to understand it's time to take him out.
This is what I'm saying, though. The many are punished for the few.
Yeah.
And I think that just like that kid throwing 176 pitches, that's the one we all talk about.
Yes.
instead of most guys are going to say, somewhere between 100 and 130, you're going to take the guy out anyway. But if that guy's around, 115 in high school? See, we don't have to keep up with that. They got pitch counters to keep up with. We don't keep up with that. And I always forget the number. I want to say it's 115. Because if they come to me and say, well, he's over the pitch count, I'm like, that's not me.
That's between
That's
y'all.
between y'all.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't deal with that.
Exactly right.
But
I'm glad they didn't put that on the umpires.
Well, you can't.
Hey, you
cannot.
can't. Not with everything that's going on. There's no way the umpire can be.
You can't.
No.
And I would be happy if they just took the lineup away from me too, and all the substitutions and all that stuff. Just let because I had a situation where if I wasn't watching, a guy tried to courtesy run, and then substitute the courtesy runner in the same half inning. So you got like dodos trying to do that. This isn't a playoff game, Terry. I mean, this isn't. So when you got like stuff like that going on, and it can get you in trouble, it would be nice to take that. Just let somebody neutral take care of all that. Then when safe out, ball strike, that's what you're responsible for. So that pitch count, oh no, they've got to. They've got to.
I think it's 105. 120 pitches now allowed over a 2-day state tournament. So
over 2 days. So it's 105 in one game.
Right.
See,
what's the minimum where you can pitch both days? You know what I mean? So you throw your ace 3 innings, or 4 innings. That's if you have it, because the pitch of death matters. If you got one guy, and then you may or may not win the other games, the other guy, all that matters in that strategy. Do you want to wake up at the next morning and have you want your ace thrown on Saturday morning at noon or Friday night, or so that's. I got 120 pitches in 2 days. I can't remember exactly before you go to the next game. The 2 middle infielders are both freshmen. 2 middle infielders are freshmen
for North Lincoln. Wow.
So
they'll be good for a long time.
Second baseman did make an error in the 9th inning, up 8 runs, didn't he? 7th inning, up 8 runs. Don't mean to point him out, but as soon as he made it, I thought, the poor freshman's up 8 runs. I bet he was just like, I'm so nervous right now. Don't hit it to me.
If I'm up 8 runs, this should not bother me.
Pop it up.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the one, and then you just bobble it.
But it is something else to keep up with that complicates things, like a lot of the little.
Right.
It's kind of baseball is a game where 80% of the game is played with 20% of the rules. I will say that. It's one of those things that if there was less things to worry about and you got to worry about the pitch count, it's like, no, that's probably going too far. But going back to what I said earlier, I just really think that most coaches, the majority of coaches, are not going to risk the health of the guy for the game. I just don't think they are. And there are a few that will. There are a few that will.
Oh, yeah.
And those few are the reason why everybody's got to go by these rules. And I'm kind of torn because I know I want to protect those kids who will be hurt by the coaches that don't. But, in my experience with coaches, and, most of them know the game, know their players, and want to win, but don't want to really put anybody's health at risk. At least that's my percent. They wouldn't want to put the kid at risk, but there are a few that would. So we have the rule, and now the coaches have to, especially take 120 in a 2 game. Now you're playing all these mathematical games, analytics, trying to figure out how you're going to pitch. I mean that definitely complicates things.
That's what we did. That's what we did, and I pulled up the playoffs here, Tom. My senior year, we were in a split conference, 1A and 2A. Yeah. We had 2 state champions from our conference. We beat them both, but we lost in the first round because we threw our second guy the first 3 innings, but he did great. But you guys were talking about last night, a bloop single here, a bloop single there last night. That's what happened to us. We got beat 2-1 on 2 bloop singles off our ace who came in the 4th inning and hit 2 one right over third base, one right over first baseman's head where you couldn't get to it. And then we're out of the playoffs, and then 2 teams we beat have rings. So it can happen
tough.
anyway that way. North Lincoln about lost the first game of the year, weren't they, Hunter? They're down 4-2.
Bottom
of the 7th.
Playoffs,
First game of the playoffs. They're down 4-2, bottom of the 7th, and won.
Really?
Yeah, on errors.
On
errors and walks. Hit batsman.
Walks.
2 0-2 hit batsman.
I'm going to tell you, in the high school that I have watched, it's always hardest for that team to get those last 3 outs in the bottom of the 7th. I'm just telling you, because You know, you're going in there and this might be 6-2 or 6-1, and you're thinking this. And I was like, nah, anything can happen because when you try to get those last 3 outs, especially if you get that starting pitcher out of the game and you get into the bullpen, it can get interesting.
Just think, you know, if North Lincoln would have only had 6 like they had at the end of the 4th inning, if they wouldn't have scored those extra runs, well, they gave up 2 runs in the 7th trying to just get them out. It would have been 5-6 and a whole lot tighter of a ball game right there.
So and every pitch would have been different.
They lost. Randleman lost 4 games this year. Got an 11 seed. The team that beat them lost. I think it was 2 games. Lost. They beat them twice. Providence beat them twice.
Wow.
Providence Grove beat them twice. They lost a 13-inning game, and then they lost to T.C. Roberson. Is who all the only people that Randleman have lost to.
So Randleman played TCR?
T.C. Roberson, yeah. They lost to them.
How far is that away?
A couple of hours. I don't know what.
Were they playing in a tournament?
It might have been a summer. It might have been an Easter tournament. It was kind of somewhere around that area that I was looking at. I was trying to pull up the standings to say at TC.
Wow.
Asheville. They went to Asheville to play.
They went to Asheville to play.
Maybe they went on a Biltmore trip. Had the baseball team dropping them off because I'm sure they don't want to go see the house.
You
and
don't
the garden.
take a baseball team to the Biltmore house.
I'm saying they took the whole class.
Oh.
And the baseball team was like, we don't need to see the Rose Garden. We're going to go play a baseball game while y'all over here eat crumpets and talk about how rich none of us will ever be. Biltmore.
Come on, boys. We're gonna take VP out there by the flower beds.
Plenty of room to take VP out there. They got all that room out there, and they're playing cricket, not baseball. I don't know what else to. Maybe they could have helped them out up there.
I don't know. Just my inclination would be most of the baseball teams around here wouldn't be real hyped up about a trip to Asheville.
TC's got a neat little baseball stadium. If you've never been, we went up there for Legion a couple times last year. When we were up there. And I was going to mention this. They were taking up the AstroTurf and I guess remodeling or doing some stuff up there. But it was kind of weird seeing the turf off the high school field. It just looked like gravel out there, a little dirt. But speaking of that, before we go to the break, Kings Mountain's getting AstroTurf.
I saw Joel at work, and he was telling me he was super hyped up. Had a picture on his phone, what's it going to look like, and all this stuff. So Joel and the Kings Mountain crowd. I said, "Where'd y'all get that money?" Said they've boosters raised it. Touchdown Club raised the money for that. So,
they are selling sponsorships, Terry. I'm going to tell you how much it is in the break and see if you can want to put your name on the
I'm going to
field.
sponsor it.
Hey, if everybody pitches in $1, at some point we could get enough to put Hunter's or JP's name on it. That's it. JP is a Kings Mountain fan.
No, I said.
What if it was John Prather Field, Tom?
I said Calvin Hastings Stadium is what I said.
JP.
Say KTC.
They're putting in
chip
AstroTurf.
Calvin Hastings Stadium.
They're putting in AstroTurf at Kings Mountain High School, and if we raise enough money, we can name it John Prather Field. What do you think about that?
Maybe, I don't know. I'm thinking, like Morphman Stadium,
There you go.
Or how about this? How about the Dark Side?
Anyway, if you pay the money, you can name it whatever you want to.
Good point, but I ain't got that much money, trust me.
Well, no, we're going to all raise it for us.
Good idea. Yeah, we could have a Star Wars day and show all the movies, and Terry could be in a Darth Vader outfit and be the star.
You're wrong.
All right, JP, thanks for joining us for a second. All right, let me talk to Payne for a second before we get out of here. Real quick, Randleman's giving up 3 runs a game this year, Tom.
3 runs a game.
3 runs a game, and that's
well,
31 games.
They have to have a couple guys. They either got some guys that can really eat the inning start, or they've got some guys that can throw coming off the bench. They've got to have something over there.
All right, Payton. Real quick, you've been working hard this week after joining us. Let's get a little background and information on you before we go to our break. Tell us where you from, and college, high school, college, and what you majored in here real quick.
My name's Peyton Willick. I went to Bandy's High School, actually, with Hunter himself. And then I went on to go to Gardner-Webb University, where I am majoring in broadcast journalism.
Terry, Bandy's has one of the greatest wrestlers in history.
Yeah, we do.
Think I'm Peyton.
This is a funny thing, though. Peyton, do you know his real name?
I don't think so now.
And neither one of y'all weigh as much as his legs.
I don't think so.
But so he goes by Braun Strowman, right?
Yeah.
But do you know his real name?
Strom Broman.
I don't think so, no.
Okay, all right. I'll have to tell you.
Okay. Okay.
That was we did that as a quiz, as like a funny call-in quiz question one day.
His last name ain't Yancey, if that's what you're thinking.
No, absolutely not. Not
I'll tell you
Yancey.
that there's no Yancey in that.
It ain't, but he used to work right near my house. He did. Saw that big fool everywhere.
Oh, okay. So you majored in what, and what are you trying to do now?
I majored in broadcast journalism, and I'm trying to, I guess, get on the radio after I graduate, something like that.
Yeah.
There you
He's
go.
gonna be your next Rush Limbaugh, Tom.
All right. He's going to be. Well, there's plenty of them. Rush Limbaugh. Who else we got? Sean Hannity's always on. What's the station he's always
I told
on?
you you could make your own podcast station now. You just gotta do that
Hannity a
yourself.
Fox man?
No, but he's on a
He's got his own-
no 95 point something. The Answer.
There's a
out
lot
of
of
Greenville. He's on there.
There's a lot of stations that
I
pick
went to
up- pick up
broadcasting
those
school with
national-
a guy that wanted to be, he wanted to be the next Rush Limbaugh. He
Yeah.
wanted to be I know what he wanted. He wanted to work for NPR. He wanted to work for NPR.
Well, he didn't want to be Rush then.
No, it wasn't Rush, but,
Well,
but
we
he
be the
wanted,
opposite.
opposite. But he wanted to be in the politics
Remember,
part
National
of NPR.
Public Radio.
Yeah.
He wanted to be the politics of NPR.
Peyton, all right, this week you went to a lot of games. You started off your intern adventure last week at picking up hot dogs at City Lunch.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
And then heading out to Shelby for a couple of remotes, and then had some fun with that. But this week you went to the state playoff games. Tell a little bit about the crowd last night and everything. You were out, out there at the game. Talk a little bit about that. You've been tweeting the scores for us, so follow him on the WLON Twitter feed, and we'll be doing that this week. We're going to talk about our plans this week here in just a little bit. All right, Peyton, a little bit about the crowd and everything this week during the baseball game.
Yeah, so the crowd last night was massive. Game 2, it was pretty big. There was several West Lincoln fans. I think there were some Cherryville fans there too. But last night there was a ton of people. Where I normally park, they had it blocked off, so I had to go search through the maze of the parking lot to find a place to park. But it was a massive crowd, and they were all very nice people.
Good deal. So Peyton's going to be joining us the rest of the summer before he finishes up here at Gardner-Webb University. So if you'll be seeing him out and about at some of the broadcasts, taking pictures, tweeting scores, doing some interviews and stuff. And so Peyton, we'll welcome you to the shows. We got to take a break now, big break here, Peyton, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Talk more. We got NFL to talk about, NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball. NASCAR is 600 is tomorrow. I went to the All-Star race last week with the kids in Calvin.
Did you see the fight?
No. Actually, when the fight was going on, we actually had probably the best tickets I've ever had at a race. We were 7-8 seats from the start-finish line. So, like, we were looking down the barrel, basically, except for when the cars came by, the 40 people in front of you stood up with their cell phones. Other than that. But we were right there at the flagman. So when that was going on, Larson was doing a spin out, so there was just smoke everywhere, and we didn't really see that. The kids, absolutely, we're going to talk about that later, but Kyle Larson wins that. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Hey, let's go to break. We're way overdue for a break, and we'll be right back on KDC Broadcast.
When you shop our local advertisers, be sure to tell them you heard it on the radio. That way they'll know that their radio dollars they spend works for them and you too. Even in today's fast-moving world, radio remains the leading media to reach more people. 93% of Americans listen to AM/FM radio over the air. TV viewership is 89%, smartphone use is 83%, and personal computer use is 50%. So if you're a business owner, reach more people with the power of radio. If you don't tell it, you can't sell it. See the power of radio. WHS Shelby, WLON Lincolnton, WCSL Cherryville. Online at KTCBroadcasting.com.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
The NTT IndyCar Series roars to life once again at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's the 103rd running of the greatest spectacle in racing.
The word has always been that the 3.2 million bricks here reach out and they select their winner each year. Could it be that they reached into Australia in the form of willpower?
Listen this Sunday.
The Indianapolis 500 this Sunday at 12 noon on Carolina Country WCSL. 1590 AM, 92.3 FM, and online at KDCBroadcasting.com.
It's time to tee it up at Kings Mountain Country Club. Open to the public 7 days a week. Play and ride 18 holes Monday through Friday for $28. Play and ride 18 holes on weekends for $40. And seniors 55 and older can play and ride Monday through Friday for just $24. For your tee time, call 704-739-5871 for the Kings Mountain Country Club. 100 Country Club Drive in Kings Mountain.
Now's the time to buy your new Kubota from Parker Farm Service in Kings Mountain. Right now, pay zero money down. Get 0% APR financing for 60 months. Come on in now for all the details. All for good on the Kubota BX Series, the Kubota B Series, the Kubota L Series, and the Kubota MX Series tractors. Again, zero money down and 0% APR financing for 60 months. Get your new Kubota today at Parker Farm Service, 126 Bessie Drive in Kings Mountain. Hillbillies Barbecue and Steaks in Lowell is home to great barbecue and more. Serving this area since 1989. You'll find barbecue, ribs, chicken, steaks, and more. Ask about their party packs, family packs, and fundraisers, plus special catering and delivery. And every Wednesday is Senior Day. Seniors 60 and over eat for a special low discounted price at Hillbillies Barbecue and Steaks, 720 McCannville Road in Lowell. And for special reservations, call 704-824-8838 or visit the website at hillbilliesbbqsteaks.com.
What's that howling?
Nothing to be afraid of. This is Coyote Tractor Country, mister. That howling just means somebody's bought another hard-working Coyote tractor.
If you're in the market for a hard-working, affordable 20 to 90 horsepower compact tractor, test drive a Coyote today.
You heard the man. Now get going. You're burning daylight, mister. Visit www.kioti.com.
Your Coyote dealer is West End Sales, Highway 1827 intersection in Vail.
I'm Lon Helton, inviting you to join me as I count down the week's top 30 with Morgan Wallen, who got pranked by Luke Bryan and Peyton Manning.
What in the world is going on? Luke Bryan and Peyton Manning are sitting here FaceTiming me because they just pranked me, you know?
That's Morgan Wallen this week on Country Countdown USA.
Country Countdown USA with Lon Helton, Wednesday afternoons at 1 o'clock on Carolina Country, WCSL, 92.3 FM, 1590 AM, online at kdcbroadcasting.com.
Dr. John L. Cloninger III of Lincolnton will brighten your smiles with professional cosmetic dentistry and smile enhancement procedures for everyone. Even Duke fans will smile at the work of this Tar Heel. The office of Dr. John L. Cloninger III is located at 904 Doncha Drive. For an appointment, call 704-735-0765. That's 704-735-0765. And John III says best wishes to all high school athletes.
Maybe a punctuation mark on a career night.
Get ready for Father's Day with a stop at Hometown Hardware in Kings Mountain. Howard Elmore says, come on in. They've got some great gift ideas, like those Traeger grills, along with the Traeger pellets, cooking accessories, rubs, and sauces. Also case knives, Husqvarna blowers and trimmers, Lodge cookware, and much, much more. It's a big old toy box for Dad. That's Hometown Hardware, 110 South Railroad Avenue, downtown Kings Mountain. Buy more, save more at Hendrick Appliance and Mattress Center in Shelby. Come in now and save up to $1,200 on select GE Profile appliance packages, refrigerators, dishwashers, ranges, and microwave ovens. Let Hendrick Appliance and Mattress Center put a package together for you. Again, save up to $1,200 on select GE Profile appliance packages. Buy more, save more at Hendrick Appliance and Mattress Center. 1241 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 3 on Saturday.
Just in time for spring and summer, the new rent-to-own cabana is now in stock at Sheila's Sheds in Cherryville, Lincolnton, and Shelby. It's time to party with your own cabana from Sheila's Sheds. And also just arrived, new animal shelters. Come see one for your special furry animal. Visit your nearest location. Sheila's Sheds, Highway 150 east of Cherryville, Highway 74 bypass east in Shelby, and now at 534 Riverside Drive in Lincoln. Call 704-300-4254 for Sheila's Sheds of Cherryville, Shelby, and Lincolnton.
What are you looking forward to most in life? In the book of Acts, in the first chapter, verse 9 says these words, "After saying this, he was taken up into a cloud while they were watching, and they could no longer see him. 2 white-robed men suddenly stood among them. 'Men of Galilee,' they said, 'why are you standing here staring into heaven? Jesus has been taken from you into heaven, but someday he will return from heaven in the same way you saw him go.'" Something to look forward to is the return of Jesus. This is Vince Hefner, pastor of the First Baptist Church of Cherryville, saying, don't give in to sin. Think about it.
And welcome back to Saturday Morning Sports Talk with Kevin and the gang. Kevin, back to y'all.
I think we're back.
I'm going to turn y'all's mic on.
I was like, why is it got to be
Make sure
Kevin
I'm
in
on.
the game?
The question that Tom missed in the break was, which is dirtier / cleaner, however way you want to do it.
Okay.
Ocean water or water park water?
Well, I guess in ocean water you would have a significant amount of marine life, perhaps polluting the water in ways I won't elaborate on the air.
That was my point.
Okay, and then in public swimming, you do have human beings polluting the water in ways I won't elaborate
primates
on.
polluting the water.
But I will say, at least in the public facilities, you do have like chlorination and other types of man-made control of contaminants. That's as scientific.
Filtration.
Is that scientific?
It is. Okay, now,
That's
what
just
you
as
saying?
bad. That's just as bad. All those chemicals you're putting in your body. That's just as bad.
You don't drink the water, Hunter.
How
What are
many
you
times
talking
have you
about?
said that to your kid in the water when they were young? Don't drink the water, but they end up doing it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, they learn from it, Hunter.
I know, it's a learning experience. It's a learning
So you're telling me drinking ocean water is better than drinking pool
think
water?
of that.
No, I'm not saying to drink either one of them. I'm not.
All right.
The answer is none of the above.
All right.
All right, Tom. Saturday, June 1st. If you're a Shelby Golden Line fan, or whether you are or not, you don't have to be. You want to support the Golden Lions football team, raising money. Golf tournament. Saturday, June 1st at the Riverbend YMCA. Contact Britt Pasco. Our own Britt Pasco is helping run the tournament. I will be out of town for the state tournament, so I can't have a team. We may get a sponsor. I need to talk to Britt about that. Format 4-person captain's choice. Tee off at 1:30. Next Saturday, June 1st.
And I don't know if people out this way get to Riverbend too much, but Phil Wallace came back, and he's been over there a few years, and they've done a lot of great things with Riverbend. They've taken out a lot of trees. They've made that course really player friendly. But I think it's still challenging enough to be fun, but getting in the trees gets the average golfer a little frustrated, and there's not as many of those out there. And the course is really in good shape. So if you haven't been able to, to get out there and see it and, play in this tournament, I think it'd be a good opportunity for you to support local football and play a great golf course.
Any of you other schools have any other announcements, fundraisers, stuff you want us to announce, or especially if you have a golf tournament, let me know. KTC will, if we've got the time and the
Burns has got one.
We'll throw together a team and get out there. We just got to have if it depends how busy we are and what day it is and other stuff. If we can play, we will play.
I'm going to see if I can find out. Burns has got one too. I'm not sure.
The Dan Greer Memorial golf tournament with them. Tom and Hunter wasn't here last week. I got a Major League Baseball trivia question. I'm trying to give away some Hickory Crawdads tickets, and I told the answer last week at the end of the show. Maybe some folks were listening, maybe they weren't. So if you were, you got a clue. All right, y'all ready for this? Only 4 players in Major League Baseball have 2,000 RBIs now. Maybe 5. Is it 5 then?
Active players
or no, all time.
Okay.
A-Rod, Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron. I can never remember the 5th guy. And Albert Pujols just joined the club, Tom.
I was about to say, they said they had 2 of them that were in
2,000
question.
RBIs.
They had 2 of them.
It was Babe Ruth and another guy
and
back
the
when
other
he
guy
played.
that-
They weren't official record back then. Somebody went back and looked at the books and put them together and all that. So Pujols with 2,000 RBIs or RBI, however you want to pronounce it. Y'all have an argument about that? RBI or RBIs?
I think it's pretty much universally accepted that it's it's kind of accepted both ways. Because it's funny, the announcers in a baseball game I was watching the other day were having the same discussion. Is it RBI or RBI? But everybody says RBIs.
So the trivia question is, name the top 3 players that Albert Pujols knocked in his career. So who has he knocked in the most? Now, I'm going to give you only need to name 2 out of the 3 to win the tickets. Okay? So you got 3 players. 3 players. You understand what I mean?
So all I gotta do is name 2 out of
the top 3 players that Albert Pujols knocked in his career.
Can I guess, or do you not want me to
I want you to
guess?
write them down, and then you can guess. Y'all 2 can guess if you'll name. But it doesn't. I can't say yes or no right now because we've got callers. So 704-435-2844. 704-435.
Is one out of those 2 correct?
2844. One of those is. Yep.
Is it the top one?
No.
Oh, it's the second one. I knew he was going to be in there, because you like to rag on it.
So I need 2 out of the 3 that Albert Pujols has knocked in his career RBIs. He's got 2,000, and that's all I need.
Now I got to think about Cardinals.
704-435-2844. I'll give away 4 Hickory Crawdads tickets. All right.
Can I guess? Oh,
you already know the answers. All right. How about this story for we talk about the young guys getting paid in college sports all the time. Major League Baseball is starting to have an issue.
Okay.
With the same thing. Hunter, I don't know if you're familiar with this story.
I have not.
Carter Stewart, drafted by the Braves.
Okay.
First round. He has decided that he is not going to play for the Braves.
Right.
He is going to Japan.
Oh.
Because of the way he's going to make $7 more million in Japan than he will in Major League Baseball with the Braves because of the way the collective bargaining structure is of the Braves. And he'll be out of his contract 2 years sooner than he would be if he was in Major League Baseball.
And if you look at it this way, I don't know if he was looking at it the same way, but he's technically playing professionally in Japan where he would be in a minor league system for maybe 4 or 5 years here in America.
Hunter's barking up the right tree, and if I was like, if you name this rule, it's going to be amazing, but you didn't, but you got close to it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're 25 years old and have played as long as you're 25 years old and you've played 6 years for a foreign professional league, you come back into America as a free agent. He does not have to go through the draft now.
And he doesn't have to go through the minors.
So he's going to make more money
in
Japan than he would in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
In 6 years in Japan, and then when he comes back, he'll be a free agent, can sign with any team for any amount of money for anything, and nobody will control him.
I don't know who this kid's agent is.
Or if it was guess what? Guess who it is?
Or if it
guess who it is? Baseball. You know who his agent is?
I have no idea.
Scott Boras.
Oh.
You knew that one. Come on. Who else will push this? But think about that, because the Major League Baseball, they control you for. I think they controlled Pujols for 7 years. Then arbitration kicked in, and then so he didn't really get to negotiate. That's why he ended up in Anaheim, because they offered him $3 million less a year than Anaheim did. But Anaheim's like, Pujols was like, well, you owe me that money basically from the 7 years. So this kid's going to Japan. He'll come back. He's a pitcher, right-hand pitcher, throws mid-90s right now, and with more money in his hand. And basically, he would be paying in 2020 if he stayed in America. He would be getting paid $10,000 a year after a signing bonus, because that's the way they do these baseball contracts.
Yeah, I was about to say that's
you get a big signing bonus, and then the minor leaguers get $10,000 a year. $10,000 a year in a 6 year, where he's going to be making over $1 million a year in Japan. So that's what a lot of these. That's what basketball and football is facing. Baseball, I would say for years ain't right with some of the contracts, and they're gonna have to fix that, ain't you, Tom? Or aren't you gonna have more that do this?
This is really. I didn't know you could cook the books this way. Really, I mean, until you
it's
told me that.
It's not even close how much more money he's gonna make.
But what I was thinking the whole time you were talking, and I read an article not too long ago talking about Major League Baseball's dwindling attendance, especially as teams that are not in the playoff race. So.
Right.
How much longer can they sustain these Bryce Harper type contracts if you have dwindling attendance? I would say that's something that Major League Baseball's got to figure out. Besides ways to keep your talent in the country,
At this point, just watching on TV, especially in the NFL, they don't care. I don't think they care about the attendance because the
TV revenue.
The TV revenue is so big. They just gave out 3 guys $400 million or $1 billion to 3 guys.
Then why are the seats?
Think about how much money they have.
But why are the seats still so expensive?
I don't know. That's what makes me mad about it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I can't understand. Is like, why is it still so expensive?
It's going to cost you an arm and a leg to still go down there and probably sit in a nosebleed section when I have just as good of a seat.
Do they still do?
Mm-hmm.
And I have to think. I have to think because this might have been the rule a long time ago, and you're in this world, so you would know more than I would. That it seemed like it used to be, we're going to black the game out if it doesn't sell out, especially.
They used to do that all the time,
but they don't do that anymore.
No,
do they?
That's a football rule, but they do sell it out because they do the PSLs. Jerry Richardson started the whole PSL. The NFL and Jerry Richardson started the PSL things to keep them from doing that. So whether you have to buy the tickets, you have to buy the season tickets.
Oh, okay. Because I remember that when I was a kid. Because they would. I can remember being a kid and watching it and said, "We don't know if this game will be on television yet because they got to sell like so many more tickets." Right. And I was like, I don't think they do that anymore.
No, because the television deals the television deals pay for everyone in that stadium basically, and then they're just making gravy on top of it. Is how they figured out the money on that. Mark Emmert, I think, NCAA chairman, makes $4.9 or $3.9 million a year now.
Really?
One of the bowl presidents makes $1.5 million a year. One game. The bowl president. It's crazy. There's so much money just flying around with these TV deals. It's insane, and that go ahead, Terry.
Well, I was getting ready to say back to the Stewart deal, guys. Do you not think that you're really taking a chance by doing this? What if you go over and you're no good?
What if you stay here, you're no good. You got $3 million left.
I was about to say, Terry, that's a double-edged sword. Like you could do that. It could be the same thing if you stay here. The only difference is you're gonna make a substantially more amount of money over there.
And you learn a second language.
Yeah, it's like Rosetta Stone while you're working.
Come back to Japanese.
I'm not really sure. Man, Japanese got to be tough to learn
if
you've never looked at it.
Well, I don't know. They say in American.
English is the hardest.
Is the worst. I mean, you know.
All right, let's play a little Do Dictionary, Terry, before I break. Yeah. Do you drink 12 beers or 12 beer?
Well, if you're gonna put it in my language,
if you've drank 12 beers, spelling beer is the least of your concerns.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Is it do I kill 12 beer or 12?
You know
beer?
what? I mean,
GEERS.
Said GED.
GED. You know what? I'm just looking at this. This is just gonna.
This is a Braves player. It's just first round
pick. Player. Yeah, first round pick too. This, I think, really, because this is the first instance, I think it's kind of going to raise the eyebrow of the MLB, commissioner and whatnot. But if it starts happening more frequently, then they'll definitely have to look into how do we keep our players at home.
Well,
because nobody likes losing their players to other countries, especially homegrown players.
My question for you, and I don't know, I know Acuna signed that deal. How long has he been in?
I have no idea how long
baseball.
He was in the minor leagues.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I hate to say it, but I'm be honest. Below the major leagues, I really don't pay attention.
I mean, how old is he?
People just have to face the facts. You might go if you don't have a professional team in your area, like we don't. We'll go to Knights games. We'll go to Crawdads games. Yeah. But other than that, they don't. The ESPNs and the Fox Sports of the world are not talking about this minor league team.
You used to watch Braves every night on TBS, and now you can't. And same thing with, growing up. I saw almost every Michael Jordan game because we had WGN down here on the cable box.
Sure.
I mean, think
Chicago
about that.
White Sox, Chicago Cubs in the evenings.
Right. I got to see I got to see the Cardinals.
White Sox too.
I got to see the
White Sox too.
I got to see the Indians. I guess Cardinals and the Indians about 30, 40 times a game. Growing up.
Because see, this is something that's gonna probably gonna translate into.
It's funny. We had less choices then, but had more sports.
Because this is happening now in the MLB.
It was almost
we see players coming out of college basketball that are instead of playing college basketball going and playing overseas. Emmanuel Moutier.
They're getting rid of that rule now because of it.
Yeah.
The commissioner Silver admitted the other day. He said we have to basically understand that this is a TV show. And he come out. That's what he said. So
I wouldn't mind seeing the other like football and basketball going to.
This is why I think that this is why I think football needs the XFL to work out.
Well, what I
think it needs it to work out because we have the G League for basketball. We've got single A, double A, triple A. Spring ball. We got all these things for the MLB. Football has no feeder system other than college football. There is no when you get drafted, it's either you're going to make it or you're a bust. There is no in between. There is no time for you to work on your craft. If you've shown enough skill, it's either that or you're going to go play in Canada, and no one really pays attention.
If they had you commit to the college for 3 years, or you go to the developmental leagues like you're talking about, which NFL needs, I think that's a good rule. Baseball has that rule, right? If you go to college, you got 3 years.
Yeah.
And I think the other sports they would
do
be
the
better
same thing
served
with
for that.
Well,
I think they'd be better served
play
for
in
that.
football, but they say you have to stay 3 years at least. I think they should do. I think that same thing should be happening in basketball.
In basketball
you can
too,
come
should be the
straight
same
out,
thing.
or if you go,
Well,
you gotta make that scholarship worth something. You gotta be there for more than a few months.
Well, I know this dude's going to go over there, and somebody's going to keep up with him. I mean, somebody will.
Oh yeah,
they're
probably gonna track him more than any of the minor leagues.
Royals fan, like we see his name now, 2 years from now, I'm going to forget who he ever was. You know, Braves fan is going to remember who he was because he was one of theirs.
Remember, J.D. Drew did this. He went to an independent league instead of going through the. Then he didn't want to go to whoever was drafted.
Well, here's the thing, though, is we can't act like this is probably going to hurt him though, because
he's making money.
Face it, he'll be making money. Yeah. But Japan and the Dominican Republic areas. Their baseball leagues,
beat us in the
their baseball teams,
classic.
their baseball leagues are just as serious as the MLB. I know the goal for all of them is to one day play here in America in the majors, probably because of the fact they can make so much more money here. But let's not act like those leagues aren't as competitive. This might be just as good for him going ahead and playing against pros than it would be for him spending, 5 to 6 years in a minor league system. No guarantee that you'll even get pulled up. You know what I'm saying? This might be good for. I don't know if it's all money sake, then absolutely. But he might come back, because think about it. When Shohei Ohtani came on the field here after playing in Japan for so long, everybody had such a question about him, but he's turned out to be a pretty good player.
Yeah, but some of them guys come over here and be bust too. I mean,
but even that's people that you pull up out of the minor league system. So I don't know if it's what he wants to do. It's what he wants to do. Personally, for me, I do
not blame him for the money.
Oh yeah, money wise, no, I'll never blame a person for doing something for money. Not at all.
Well, let's look at the Major League standings real quick. I'm doing some fuzzy math over here, Hunter. Go over the. I know we got to take a break and get to it. But go over the American League standings real quick for everybody.
All right, American League East, leading the charge. You've got the New York Yankees, 32-17. Tampa Bay Rays, 29-19. The Boston Red Sox struggled earlier. Right now, they're 3 over 500.
Congratulations.
27-24. The Blue Jays, 20-31, and the sorry Baltimore Orioles at 15-36. In the Central, American League Central, you've got the Minnesota Twins, 34-16. Cleveland Indians, 26-24. Chicago White Sox, 23-27. Detroit Tigers, 19-29. The Kansas City Royals, 17-32.
Question in this league for Tom. Tom, your Indians are 8 games back. Is it over?
Well, Vegas has just now made the Minnesota Twins the favorite to win that division. Cleveland is, they've got that great pitching staff. Clevenger's supposed to be coming back pretty soon. I just don't know if they have enough bats, Terry. I mean, I just don't know if they have enough offense. They won last night 3-1, but before that they lost. Oakland, they cannot beat Oakland. I mean, Oakland, I think, has beat them 7 out of 8 times, and that's really, they just got swept at home by Oakland. So, I don't know, Terry. 8 games, it's only May, but that's a pretty steep hole to dig out of.
I mean, you're what, 1/3 of the way?
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah, it's pretty steep, and Minnesota doesn't show any signs of letting up right now, Terry. So.
And in the American League West, my favorite to win this year's World Series, the Houston Astros, 34-18. Below them is the Texas Rangers, 25-23. The Oakland Athletics are 26-25.
Here they come.
The Los Angeles Angels, led by the best player in baseball, Mike Trout, are 22-28. That was a little shot right there. 22-28.
Listen, we don't tell lies on this show. You're going to have to retract that. You're going to have to retract that statement.
Okay, that's fine. No, I can retract it, especially looking at the 22-28. That's neither here nor there. The Seattle Mariners wind up that Division, 23-30. Now to the National League. The Philadelphia Phillies lead the East 30-21. The Atlanta Braves are not far behind. They are 29-23. The New York Mets are 24-26. The Washington Nationals are 20-31. And the Marlins are 16-32, where everybody thought that they would be. In the Central, the Chicago Cubs, 29-20. Behind them, the Milwaukee Brewers, 29-23. The Pittsburgh Pirates are 25-23. The St. Louis Cardinals are even, 25-25.
Listen to this real quick before you go any further. Tom, at one point, the Cardinals were 20-10. They're now 25-25. 20-10. Best record in baseball on that date. I sent out all kinds of text messages. At Verizon, I want my money back for my text with Cardinals. Somebody owes me that for that. They're ridiculous. They went 5-15.
You might have jinxed them.
I didn't jinx them. I retweeted them.
You retweeted
I'm
them.
just telling you, baseball's, it is funny that way. I mean, you can have a team that's not playing very well, and then all of a sudden they win.
Well,
10
no,
games.
watch this.
This is what's so funny right here is the Cincinnati Reds.
That's what I was about to say. The Reds, Tom, have give up the least runs in the National League are in dead last.
You got to hit. I don't care.
The
what
least runs.
I mean, I know they say that pitching wins ball games, but I was, just doing a little reading on some of the Indians hitters that if you don't hit, like the guy batting cleanup was batting 198. I mean, if your cleanup guy's hitting 198, I don't care who's pitching.
I'm sorry.
You're not going to win.
I'm sorry. Games, I still can't get over the fact that there are baseball analysts out there that will admit that 250 is batting good. No. Growing up, my father said if you ain't batting 300, you're not batting good at all. So if you're not,
at what level? At what level, though? I mean, at what level? No.
At this point,
pro, if you're batting 300, that's pretty good.
I was an all-star. Hold on, I was looking at some things the other day.
280, I would say 280.
The pros average about 20 people hitting over 300 a year.
Yeah.
I think there's only like 5. And now it's been getting less and less the last few years. And I'm gonna point out that. So Hunter said likes to pick on when we talk about old Mike Trout here, and Tom.
Well, Mike Trout's brought his average up.
My question with Terry, and I asked Ken while he was in here last week. Would you rather, you're going into a series? Would you rather? I remember Barry Bonds didn't win a championship. Ken Griffey Jr. didn't win a championship. Would you rather have the best outfielder in the series or the best catcher? Which one's going to win you more games, the best outfielder in baseball or the best catcher in baseball?
Well, the catcher's especially, he's got to call a ball game. He's got to keep those runners from getting automatic doubles after a walk. And, I mean, there's a lot of responsibility on the catcher. I mean, I would rather have a good catcher than a good outfielder. So, of course, a good outfielder is going to save you a few outs, too, but I don't think as many as a good catcher.
Well, an outfielder catches how many balls a game? 2 to 5?
Yeah,
catcher
but if you've got that outfielder that makes a catch and takes away a double or a triple, I mean, that could be a game changer.
Name the last outfielder that led his team to a World Series championship.
Well, I just made the argument for the catcher. I'm just
all right. So with that said, everyone talks about how great Mike Trout is. Terry, here's his rankings this year. Just this year, 19th in runs. Now, this is the greatest player ever, is what I'm told. Not this year, not in even today's society. Hits. He's out of the top 50 in hits. He's not even on the list. In hits. The dude don't hit. This is what he does. I'll get to the point. 39th in doubles. 39th. That means there's every other baseball team has someone who has more doubles than Mike Trout. Every baseball team almost has two people that has as many hits and as RBIs as Trout. He didn't even top 50 in RBIs. He's 36th in home runs. So the greatest baseball player of all time, Tom, 36th, 50th, 39th, 50th, and 19th. How good are the players ahead of him in those categories?
But nobody at this table said he's the best player of all time. Oh, okay.
No, not all the time.
No. So, wait. And I was saying that facetiously. So wait a minute. I would take Yelich over. I would take Trout.
Now, after we said all that, we just talked about defense with Trout and Yachty, right, Terry? How about hitting with Trout and Yachty? Yachty's got more hits, more doubles, and more RBIs. How is Yachty not the greatest player ever, or the best player in baseball? I mean, he's got. Come on, y'all. You know what he's got, and here's what Trout is. I'm gonna scroll on over here because we all know what's about to happen. his WAR. Let me tell you the WAR difference in those. And here's the stat. The WAR difference.
I hate war. Don't make no sense.
You ready for it? And this year, Trout is 3.3. Whatever that means. Yachty is 0.4.
And I want you to explain over air for people that don't understand what is WAR. What does that stand for?
I can't. It's wins over replacement, but it's an invisible replacement player.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't even count wins. So if you look at Terry, I know you probably haven't done it. If you'll click on, say, the Anaheim Angels WAR, the team WAR, and it shows every player, well, if you add it up, it don't add up to 22 wins. It adds up to like 10 wins. So how does that make?
And wins over replacement. I've said this multiple times. What if your replacement's a scrub and he never touches the field? Well, of course you're going to have more wins than him. He's never going to touch the field.
So the catcher, whose team has more wins, who's batting better, who's definitely a better defensive player, his WAR is 0.4, and Trout's is 3.3 in the best in baseball. And they tell you that, or not the best, Yelich is the best, but they tell you that he's. People were telling me on here that he's 5 to 10 times better than Yachty and Molina because of that WAR.
No.
Here's your fun stat. The Angels are batting .211 against left-handed pitching.
Ain't he right-handed?
The whole team is batting .211 against left-handed pitching.
Guess where Trout leads? Guess what Trout leads baseball in, Terry? I bet you can't guess. Walks.
That's good. Hey, he's got to get on base.
Isn't that the most?
Terry, if that's the only way he gets on base.
That's how come Pujols has all them RBIs.
I know.
Terry, if you were playing the Angels, would you pull up a guy from AAA who was a left-hander just to pitch against them?
Yes.
If they're batting .211.
Yes.
You know what? You might do that.
Let me finish this.
I would, because I mean you're not going to know what my guy's going to throw.
How does a professional baseball team bat .211 against left-handers?
Real quick, let's go over the trivia question today, folks. Call 704-435-2844. Name me 2 out of the 3 players that Albert Pujols has knocked in the most in his career. He's got 2,000 RBI. I need 2 out of the 3 players that he's knocked in the most. I'm going to tell these boys the answers during the break so they can play along with the fun. 704-435-2844. Which 2 of the 3 players that Albert Pujols has knocked in the most? One of them should be easy. The other's kind of tricky. The third one, you got to do some Google research on that. That's why I said 2.
I don't think one of them's Ozzie Smith, is it?
No, they did not play together. Hey, quick question. I'm glad you brought up Ozzie. Tom, if you're the greatest baseball player ever, shouldn't you have more 40 double seasons than Ozzie Smith?
Yeah, you should. But
Mike Trout has never had a 40 double season Ozzie Smith has. Put that one in your pipe and smoke it, Trout fans. Ozzie Smith has a 40 double season, and Mike Trout does not.
When somebody is hated on Saturday Sports Talk, they just get pounded.
Oh, well, but I will say this: he's a top 15 player.
I mean, during football season, Cam Newton. This is kind of the same thing.
This is the one thing I'll say as well. San Diego Padres, and the Philadelphia Phillies. Philadelphia Phillies and the San Diego Padres both have $300 million men. They still have better records than the Angels, who have a $400 man.
Right. All right, we got to take a break. We come back, we're going to talk this quarterback list. We're going to talk some NFL. We've got NASCAR to go over, big-time NASCAR to go over. And then we've also got NBA playoffs. We got to get into that. We're going to go into overtime today. They don't have a remote, so we're going to take our time on that. So, anyway, we got to go. Peyton, you ready for a break? Hit the button. We'll be back on KTC.
Is it time for a new roof for your home or business? If so, call Creason Roofing of Cherryville. Creason Roofing in Cherryville will meet or beat any competitor's pricing on a new roof. That's one of the reasons why they have been serving our area for over 40 years. Steve Creason, along with his wife, son, and daughter, all work together as a family and a team. They take pride in their work and reputation. Just call 704-435-1791 or visit the website at CreasonRoofingLLC.com. Like them on Facebook, too. That's Creason Roofing of Cherryville.
It's Charlotte.
Start your engines!
It's the 60th running of the Coca-Cola 600.
It is underway. The green flag flies. Kevin Harvick hard into the wall. They're 3 wide in turn 2. Brad Keselowski all kinds of sideways. Jimmy Johnson is sideways, and everybody tries to get on the bike. Brad Keselowski, unbelievable, around the field in turn 2.
The Coca-Cola 600, Sunday, May 26th at 5 p.m.
The Coca-Cola 600, Sunday afternoon at 5 o'clock on WCSL, Carolina Country, 92.3 FM and 1590 AM, online at KDCBroadcasting.com.
With a roster full of young superstars, the sky's the limit for the 2019 Atlanta Braves, and we'll bring you every huge moment.
Fly ball to deep left center field. At the track, looking up, it's out of here.
Atlanta Braves baseball back again on the Boston Carolina Country. WHS Shelby, WLON Lincolnton, WCSL Cherryville, Gastonia. Now's the time to buy your new Kubota from Parker Farm Service in Kings Mountain. Right now, pay zero money down. Get 0% APR financing for 60 months. Come on in now for all the details. All for good on the Kubota BX Series, the Kubota B Series, the Kubota L Series, and the Kubota MX Series tractors. Again, zero money down and 0% APR financing for 60 months. Get your new Kubota today at Parker Farm Service, 126 Bessie Drive in Kings Mountain. There's no one like you. And Pandora Jewelry is opening up all kinds of possibilities to show that to the world with the new open bangle. Beautifully crafted from sterling silver with new interchangeable end caps. You can mix, match, and even have the freedom to customize like never before. Shop the new open bangle from Pandora Jewelry now and do see the wonderful Pandora Jewelry. Available at Facet Foundry Jewelry Studios, 530 South New Hope Road, Gastonia. Online at FacetFoundryJewelry.com.
Drive happy. Drive to McKinney Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac in Gastonia. Ask for the McKinney True Price. See how easy it is to buy from McKinney Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac in Gastonia. Right now, save over $8,900 on the 2018 Chevy Silverado truck. Save over $8,400 on the 2018 Buick Regal, and save over $10,000 on the GMC Sierra. Take a test drive today at McKinney Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac.
All right, welcome back to Saturday Morning Sports Talk with Kevin and the gang. Kevin, back to y'all.
All right, welcome back to Saturday Morning Sports Talk. NBA playoff time. Terry, you calm down for a second.
Well, I want to mention one thing before we start. No, this ain't got nothing to do with NBA. Will Wilson, shortstop that played for Kings Mountain, all defensive team, first team in the ACC, made first team. So congratulations.
He's a good
shortstop.
kid too. Good kid too.
Shortstop for North Carolina State.
Okay. Glad he's doing
about to
well.
say, wait a minute, who's he play for? That's the only reason you're going to bring it up. Who's he play for?
He didn't name a single other than probably all 20 all-conference.
What is he wearing? Are you wearing an Illinois hat today? What is
Independence.
Independence.
Speaking of, and this is we're not going to stick on. Speaking of NC State baseball, you know, I turned on television last night and it looked like Florida State was giving them a you-know-what.
I didn't mean that. It's just the ACC championship tournament. Who cares who wins that?
Alabama,
Oh, you're right.
Alabama softball has a pitcher that can play live.